Maria, I am so excited to have you here today to talk about some costly legal marketing mistakes. But before we begin, I just want you to introduce yourself, introduce um, your business because I love the way that you have over the years that I've known you incorporated so much more of yourself into your branding. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and how you serve people.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for noticing that. I have been incorporating a little bit more of myself into my business because people get freaked out about the legal stuff. And it's something that I know and have known. And part of that is thinking that lawyers are a certain way. And I am not a certain way. So I try to help invite the conversation about legal stuff in a way that breaks down that intimidation factor. So thank you for that. Yes, my name is Maria. I have been an attorney for almost 16 years. I've been in business. I'm celebrating my 10-year business birthday this month. So 10 years in business on my own.
And
And
let's just pause right there. Why don't you go ahead and do a little plug for the sale you're doing for your
oh yes,
year?
yes. So in honor of my 10-year business birthday, I'm having a business birthday sale for my contract template shop, the Legal Apothecary shop, which is contract templates for coaches and educators and healers with things from like course terms and conditions, membership terms and conditions, website privacy policies, and coaching agreements, all of that stuff. So the sale is going on now.
And for those that are here live with us, I've popped that link into the chat so you can check it out.
Thank you. I started in college. I was a voice major, doing opera and musical theater, and decided that I wanted to go to law school, but wanted to stay in kind of a creative field of law, not anything very serious or life threatening, I guess. But in a creative space like entertainment, like copyright, like trademark. And when I graduated, I worked at CMT, Country Music Television, for a little while, and
I did
then
not
worked
know that.
in, pardon me?
I did not know that. That's so cool.
Yes, yes. It's so funny because I was a huge country music fan before I moved to Nashville in 2010. And my love of country music has, or at least new country music, has gradually decreased the longer I've lived here. But I do still have a little spot in my heart for it. So yeah, and then I worked at another law firm, and then I started my own practice in 2015, focusing on small business owners because the entertainment stuff is fun and it's changed so much. I mean, the music industry alone, but also entertainment as we know it now is like the influencer world. That's a huge part of it. But really loving the small business owner, protecting those things that are such an integral part of you, your creative spark, your creations, your business babies. And so that's what I really loved. And so I started my own practice then, and here we are now.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with what we're actually talking about today, but now knowing your background a little better and with everything that Taylor Swift has going on right now, I don't even know if you're a Swiftie or not, but I want to hear your 2 cents on the whole, like the way she's really bringing more things about the music industry into light with the re-recordings and the masters and all of that fun stuff.
Yes, that was really interesting. I'm not a huge Swiftie, but I lightly follow what she's doing. She's a brilliant businesswoman. And I know that the struggle was basically that the record label owned the masters, which is pretty typical in the music industry. She wanted to own her masters. They said no. So she's like, okay, I wrote the songs. And when you're the songwriter, you can record the song, at your leisure. You own that copyright. So she's like, okay, I'm going to re-record and master the songs and own those masters. I also know, as a tangent to that, that she is very strategic on how she plans her trademarks. Trademarks are usually brand names, but she's got trademarks for Shake It Off, for This Sick Beat. And you have to use, her lawyers are very smart in the way that they educate her. because you have to use those as brands. It can't just be a song lyric. So she has to create all of these micro brands out of these little song lyric snippets. And I know too that her and her team filed her trademark for, is it Life of a Showgirl? Is that the new album? Very strategically in time with her podcast interview so that people couldn't, scramble and start scooping up domain names and things like that to beat her to it. So
Mhm.
just brilliant.
Well, and it's funny I don't know if any of this pops up on your feeds, but watching people investigating what trademark she currently is like trying to get is so funny to me. Like I know there's Female Rage the Musical is one that she just acquired and people are like, what is that? What, anyways, it like I said, this was a whole tangent, but I feel like so much of your background just really just like comes together there. And of course, she's got a countdown right now on her website for less than an hour for now. So it's just a very timely little conversation.
She's smart, man. She is so smart.
Okay, so what we're actually talking about today is costly legal mistakes that we might be making as small business owners. And A, why is this so important? Like you said, the legal stuff can feel scary and overwhelming, which I really love that you've kind of taken again with your branding. Um, I don't know that witchy is necessarily the right word, but like a little witchy, a
Legal
little
fairy
cool.
godmother.
Yes, but it's something that is kind of in some circles scary or like whatever. And you've taken it and you've made it fun and you've made it magical and you're doing the same with legal things. I don't It blows my mind the way, like how well you've branded. Anyways, just like from a marketing perspective, I'm like, this is so smart. This is so great. Like you've taken this thing that people could see potentially as like scary or like, oh, like I know when again Taylor Swift came out on the Eras tour and did the Willow song and it has like a witchy vibe, like people lost their minds about it in certain sects. Um, and you've taken something that could be like that and you've been like, no, like it's fun and it's magical and it's not scary at all. And it's the same with the legal stuff, exactly what you're doing education wise. So, anyways, just another, just like, you're so smart. You're such a smart businesswoman and your branding is incredible. And I just needed to take a moment and tell you that. But, um,
Absolutely.
why do we need to be paying attention to the legal aspects of our marketing outside of just like legally we don't want to get in trouble?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm big about the nervous system, which is like that fight or flight panic. And in my previous life, I did do litigation, which is going to court and helping clients through the legal process in terms of lawsuits. And that is extremely, extremely stressful. It's stressful when someone copies you. It's stressful when someone asks for a refund. It's stressful when someone threatens to sue you. I mean, people are what's the word? Uninhibited now with what they'll say behind a computer screen. I mean, it's true. So, from my perspective, the reason why it's important to do some of these things now when everything is pretty calm or when you're getting ready for a new launch or a new offer or relaunch or whatever it is, because it helps put you in such a better place so that if slash when, hopefully it helps to prevent it from hitting the fan. But if something does hit the fan, then you're like, oh, I've got this here. This is my policy. Here's my policy. I'm sorry, I can't offer you a refund. Or here's my policy. If you want a refund, here are the things that I need to see first, if you're a course creator or membership or whatever it is. So having this in like having these boxes checked is just one thing to check off your SOPs or to get off of your list so that later on it's just, okay, I've got this instead of like, I don't know what to do. This is so stressful.
I love that. I think it's so important. Just that protecting your peace.
Protecting your peace.
I love it. Okay, so when it comes to our marketing, I know you've got 5 things or 5 areas we need to be um, strategic about in
Mm-hmm.
order to protect our peace. Give us a quick rundown on what those are.
Okay. So, first is email marketing, big
Mm.
one, right? I'm sure you would, as a marketer, you would agree. Emails, very important. And there are a series of requirements that the FCC likes to see in terms of your marketing emails. Accurate from designation. So don't pretend to be somebody that you're not. A subject line that's not misleading. The umbrella term for this, by the way, is don't be misleading. So a subject line that's not misleading. I know there's a trend and even some platforms that will add like an RE line, RE colon, to make it seem like you've been in a conversation with this person and they should open this email. That makes me like a little tighten up a little bit because that could be seen as misleading. Um, Having a valid mailing address in your footer, that is a requirement from the FTC or the FCC, and not having one is the fine is $46,000 per person on your list that receives the email. So
What?
so that is, I like shout this one from the rooftops because it is free to go in and put in it can be a PO box, but it has to be a valid mailing address. And I know that there are so many people who work from home, who have personal brands. They don't have a mailing address that they're comfortable sharing with the world. But there are things like I said, like PO boxes, or there are services like Anytime Mailbox. I'm not an affiliate for them or anything, but it's basically a virtual mailbox. You don't even have to use it. It just has to be valid and in your email footer. So that's a big one. And then opt out, of course, all these platforms have that built in anyway, but a way for people to opt out, and also an opt out that's easy to spot. You know, that it's not like a weird contrast ratio that makes it hard to see, or like in between tons and tons of text. A clear opt out that's easy to spot that is honored once somebody opts out. So that's email marketing.
Okay,
Any
so
thoughts on that?
don't be misleading. Um, you've got to have an address in your footer and a clear unsubscribe method.
Yes.
Which of these do you find people pushing back on most?
The address.
Hmm, interesting.
Because which I understand. Like I don't use my own address in the footer, but that's why I
Mhm.
have a PO box. Um, I ordered a planner earlier this year. I won't name the brand, but they've got hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. They're like kicking out planners like crazy, and the email footer was like the city and state. And I thought, oh my gosh, how many people are on this email address, and what would happen if the gov saw this? Like, it's such a preventable thing.
Yeah. And such an easy thing. And you only have to put it in once and then it's automatically in all of
Yes.
your emails too. It's not like you've got to go in every email and add it in.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So get a PO box or a virtual address so you don't have to use your own personal one. No, none of us want that information out there, right? But do that to protect your peace.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay,
Yes.
so what's the next area?
The next is testimonials, which is like the golden thing that we all want to use in our marketing. And whenever someone leaves one or offers one, it's the most exciting thing. But a reminder that you cannot, let's say someone leaves you a Google review. You cannot take and repurpose that Google review in other places, social media, your website, etc., without that person's permission. Even though Google is public, even though, the logically you think, okay, they've left it on this public page. Why couldn't I use it in my marketing? It's a different use. When they leave it on Google, they're agreeing to leave it on Google. They're not agreeing to be on your website or for their face or their name or their words to be on your website or in your social media or anything like that. So the fix is easy, just to ask for permission. And the same with case studies, to the extent people are using case studies in their marketing or on their sales pages and things. To make sure you have permission. Sometimes that'll be in your client contract. Sometimes it's literally an email or a DM and saying, hey, this is so wonderful. Thank you for these words. Would you mind if I use it in XYZ context? Make sure you save that when you get their, thumbs up or the affirmative. But just getting that permission.
Okay, so this is fascinating. I did not realize that this was a legal thing. I knew like It's good practice to ask permission.
Courtesy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, is there a way? So if someone's leaving a Google review, is there a way to can you set it up so that you ask for permission through Google? How does that work?
So, something I like to do is to think through, I'm mentioning SOPs for the second time today, but think through your process of, onboarding a client and either when they're onboarded or when they're offboarded or whatever it is, sometime in your process, sending a testimonial form and having some checkboxes, like maybe a link to your Google, and then having some checkboxes for permission. They can upload their photo. Hey, I'd love to link to your website and your Instagram handle. Make it worth it for them too.
Hmm.
And making sure that you're grabbing that permission in your space before they go external to Google.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And inviting them basically to then go to Google versus they just go to Google and then
Yes. I
okay,
mean, we love someone who's excited and just wants to leave a great Google review. That's
right.
great too. But
Uh, okay, but also probably not super likely because we're all busy people, right? So that makes so much sense. Okay. And then when you set up those SOPs, it's funny you mentioning the SOPs, but they do protect your piece also.
they do.
So setting up your SOPs and your processes, and then you just have to remember when someone DMs you to be like, hey, can I, and saving that and creating a process for that as well.
Yes.
Fascinating. I did not realize, yeah, that that was a legal requirement. Are there any other things we should be aware of when it comes to testimonials or case studies?
Yes. So there's something called an earnings claim, which
Mhm.
is more so for people who are promising sales or profits or earnings of some kind. But basically, it can be in a testimonial, like someone saying, "I made I made 5K in my first month of so and so's program, or from this course, or from being those types
Mhm.
of statements." It can also be in your own marketing, like my program will help you earn 10K a month by whatever.
Mhm.
That kind of promise. So earnings claims can be in testimonials, they can be in your marketing. But either way, those also need a disclaimer. Um, so watching for your CTAs and then remembering, okay, if you have an earnings claim like that, maybe it's in a testimonial, maybe it's your own, adding a disclaimer that either substantiates it. So if someone says they made 6K in their first month, okay, out of how many students? Or is this result typical? If it's not, then that's really something that you should say. I know it's not, people would hesitate because, like, but this makes it sound better. Yes, that's the point.
Mhm.
So either substantiate it, saying, based on revenue or net revenue or whatever the math of it is, or say, results not typical, or results more typical for people who complete the entire program, or whatever, like a little bit of extra information to give it context.
Okay. And let's say that's on a sales page, right? Because a lot of times that's where we use testimonials. Does the disclaimer need to be right underneath that testimonial?
Yes. Yes. They've said that a disclaimer link or disclaimer page is not good enough because, number one, who's going to click it? And number two, it's kind of where that statement is made. Or let me think about this. If not right where the testimonial is, where the CTA button is. Basically, they have to see that disclaimer before they are able to click and make the purchase.
So it's not something we can just stick down at the bottom of a sales page. Okay. That is really good to know. Um, do you have to do that outside of earnings claims as well? Like, let's say like time claims, like, oh, this program saved me X amount of time. Like, is it the same there or is it strictly with earnings claims?
It's the same there. It's a little bit different. So I would say again, are those results typical? I mean, I have a lot of testimonials from my contract template shops that people save a lot of time. I don't, yes, like results based on personal experience. That could be as simple as the disclaimer goes, because yes, the results were based on that person's experience. My all of my testimonials support that. And
Hmm.
I support that as a provider of this tool, right? So that is a true statement
Hmm.
for most, as opposed to, you know, results not typical. Results are typical
Hmm.
in that context. So
Gotcha.
I would say look at your context, look at what you're promising,
Mhm.
because sometimes the promise doesn't match the result. And if there's a disconnect there, yes, that's when I would definitely use a disclaimer.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. So then I'm going to hop around a little bit on our
Yeah,
list, but
please.
since we're already talking about disclaimers, I know another area that we want to talk about today was disclaimers. So, what other disclaimers do we need to make sure that we are using and implementing in our marketing?
Other disclaimers would be on a blog if you're giving anything that could be taken as like financial, medical, legal advice. And that I guess could go for email too, depending on, you know, where an article lives or where the
Mhm.
substance of your content lives. And then affiliate links also disclaimers. And that one too can't just be like a little footer. It should be at the top.
Okay, so when you're using affiliate links, if you put it at the very top of a blog post, that one disclaimer works for the entire blog post?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. Um, and then when you're, so let's say, and this just might be getting like super in the weeds.
Let's do it.
Um, but let's say we're on Instagram, right? And you can't have clickable links in Instagram, and you're promoting something in a post caption, and you can say like link in bio, affiliate link, or whatever.
Mhm.
But then in our bio, do we also have to say affiliate links somehow? How does that work?
That's a great question. So your post is promoting somebody else's thing.
Hmm.
Affiliate link in bio is a great, like, easy way to use that. Like, it's an
Hmm.
affiliate link.
Yeah.
But if it's just living in your bio, it has to be apparent somewhere that that is your affiliate link. So
Okay.
if it's the landing page or the way that Instagram allows you to name, you know, the links,
Yeah.
putting
Okay.
it there.
Okay. Good to know. I wouldn't have thought about that either until, like, I knew it's got to be in the caption, but I wouldn't have thought about the actual link itself living in your bio where anyone could stumble upon it and not having seen said caption about it. So,
Mhm. They could see the video or the post or whatever it is, not read the caption and go to the link. So that's where there has to be something extra, whether it's on the video itself, which might
mhm.
be visually, I know people are hesitant to do, but I think having it in or next to the link would be a good
Yeah,
solution to that.
amazing. Okay, opt-ins. This was a really big one when I was first starting my business because the GDPR was just coming out and all of that. Um, so what do we need to know about freebies, opt-ins, all of that fun stuff?
Yes, great question. I would say the number one thing to remember is that if someone is going to be added to your email list, they need to know that. And there are different ways to do that. You can do that with like a checkbox, although I haven't seen, I'm a big Flowdesk user. I haven't seen the ability to check to agree to like a privacy policy or something. Um, so if you are adding someone to your email list from a freebie, it should be clear when they're signing up, hey, you're going to be added to my email list. You can add that in the text, or you can use double opt-in. And people don't like double opt-in because it lowers conversion rates of people actually clicking that email saying, are you sure you wanted to sign up for this?
Mhm.
But that's a really good way to be in compliance with the GDPR. And also, oh gosh, what's the number of states? Is it like in the 20s or 30s now of state privacy laws that are starting to emulate the GDPR from 2018, which feels like it was not that long ago, but I guess it was long ago. So the double opt-in is really good. Now, if it's your newsletter, put in your email address to join my email newsletter. That's they're joining your email newsletter. So
Mhm.
that's the CTA. So you really don't need um, you really don't need anything more if it's clear that that's what they're joining.
Mhm.
But if it's, get this freebie, then they need to know that they're going to be added to your email list as well.
Let's just I'm just gonna share my screen real quick and we're
Oh
gonna
boy.
pitch
Okay.
your freebie that is linked and everyone can check out. You can see it, correct?
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay. So we have your refund policy generator. Tell us a little bit about it before we look at the page.
Yeah, so you can kind of see from the little mock-up that this is how my refund policy and all my contract templates work. It's kind of a Q&A, like Mad Libs style um, software that allows you to answer a couple of questions and then it will kick out whatever the contract or the policy is. So that's the refund policy oracle, and it's for specifically for courses or memberships. And it asks you, rather than just like a one size fits all, it asks you a series of questions, what your preferences are. For example, sometimes there's a satisfaction guarantee. Sometimes you can get a full refund if you show that you completed an entire course. So it asks those kind of nichey questions.
Yeah, I love that. And then you fill in the blanks and it helps you create that refund policy. So you have, you're above the fold.
Yep.
Really easy, simple, like refund policy, quick, perfect.
Yep.
Boom. You have first name, email, give me my refund policy, and then right here, everyone can see.
Mm-hmm.
Let me highlight. But by signing up, you are also signing up for my email list. Um, and then you also link to your privacy policy. So you
Yep.
have right there, just underneath it, just a like really quick, hey, just a heads up, this is what you're doing, and this is my privacy policy.
Yes.
Amazing.
And a privacy policy is basically you if you are collecting data from people in any way, you have to have a privacy policy. Um, so that's that. Now, I will say, I am not attracting anybody from the EU. I don't practice law in the EU.
Hmm.
I'm not technically worried about complying with the GDPR. If I were, the GDPR says if someone is in Europe and signing up for your email list, they have to specifically opt in to your privacy policy. It can't just be a line that people are just like, okay, cool. Um, they have to actually like check a box or opt into that privacy
Gotcha.
policy. So that's where, if you don't have the technical functionality to add a checkbox, that's where the double opt-in is really key.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is great. Oh, there we go. Now I could highlight it. Um, this is great for here in America currently, as we don't know what'll change in the future, but this would not work for GDPR, correct?
Yes,
Perfect.
correct.
It's a great,
Unless I had double opt-in
right,
in
right,
place.
yes, double opt-in setup. But I think there are quite a few. Typically, you can set up a checkbox that would say this, and then like I agree, or click this checkbox to agree, and then it would be correct, right?
Yeah.
Yep, perfect. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, this is in the show notes. I popped it in the live chat again for those here live with us today, and you guys can snag that freebie. And get your refund policy all set up really quickly. With the final of the five, I know we were going to talk about the website, so privacy policy kind of leads directly into that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rundown of what our website needs to have in order to be legally secure and protect our peace.
Yep. So it's a little checklist I can run through. Number one, add the TM symbol to your brand name. It's usually the thing that's on like the top of your website.
Mm.
That shows people, hey, this is my trademark. I consider this to be my trademark. A lot of people think you have to have a registered trademark to use the TM symbol. You do not. That's the R in a circle. Um, but because a lot of people don't know that difference, they can see the TM symbol and be like, "Oh, she's got a registered trademark. Okay, got it." Like, and so we use that disconnect to our advantage, but um, using the TM symbol shows that you're serious about this being your brand name. So that's thing one.
Okay.
Thing two, going down now to the bottom of your website is adding a copyright notice to your website. And I would extend this to for any course creators, or if you have workbooks or other materials as part of a membership, adding a proper copyright notice to any creative materials. Why? Because again, you don't have to have a registered copyright to do it. And it is, hold on the spot. It is the C in a circle or the word copyright, then the year it was published. For a website, it can be the first year that you first published your website, and then the year that you most recently made updates. So if you have a blog, a podcast that you're constantly adding, you could add. Mine says 2015 to 2025, for example. So copyright, year, name of the owner, which is probably your LLC name, or if you don't have an LLC, then your name as the business owner. That should go on anything creative, worksheets, materials, all of that stuff. Because without it, you still own the copyright, but someone, if they are infringing you, can claim innocent infringement, which means you get basically no money from them for the infringement. You can still get them to stop, but your money is limited, and we don't want to limit that.
Okay.
Next, terms of use and privacy policy, which we just kind of talked about privacy policy. Terms of use will have your disclaimer. It's basically rules between you and the visitor to your website. And by visiting that website, they agree to your terms of use. If you have a shopping cart and the ability to sell something on your website, then your terms of use gets into your refund policy for, let's say, digital products. We'll use that as an example. Intellectual property rules. So you can't resell these things. You can't sell them use them in a commercial way. So, use my template in your course or something, like making very clear what they can and can't do with your property. Trademark, copyright notice, terms of use. And then this is just kind of a bonus, but like knowing where your images come from is a big thing on your website. And using stock photos in your website and your marketing, making sure they're from a reputable source and not just from Pinterest. Please, please, using a reputable stock photo site.
Amazing. Okay. And then what about the cookie thing? Where every website we go to, like you've got to accept, like what is that? Do we need it? Is it just a good to have? Like what is that thing?
If you're worried about GDPR, yes, you need to have it. But it's also starting to become a thing. A lot of these, I use Squarespace. A lot of platforms have a built-in cookie tracker, but especially if you're using kind of even more advanced things like heat maps or cookies, pixels, Facebook pixel, and Google. Yeah, I mean, you should just do it.
What is it?
It is
so the cookie policy?
So privacy policy will have a cookie policy in it. But the cookie pop-up is basically like an acknowledgement that this website is leaving a cookie on your browser, which I hope I'm not botching this technically, but it leaves a little tracker in your browser so that when you come back, it knows, like, if you've ever done online shopping and you add things to your cart and then you accidentally close the window and you're like, you go back to the website and your cart is still there. It's that kind of thing too. So it truly is not just a tracker to like feed you Instagram ads, but it's also there to remember when people have visited your website before.
Gotcha. Okay. So we've talked about the 5 different areas that we need to be, making sure that we're protecting our peace with in our marketing, our website, our disclaimers, our opt-ins, our testimonials and case studies, and our emails. If there was one specific action step that you could give everyone to take this week, what would it be?
Check your email footer. And I'm going to do a bonus one, which is if you are a course creator or membership owner, get your refund policy for free. And then my asterisk to that is, which if you get it, I will say this again, but don't just put it in your FAQ. put it in checkout, add that box if you can, but put it where someone has to see it and agree to it before they buy from you.
Okay, so this makes me think about the whole click to cancel, will they or won't they debacle. That new law. What's your take on that?
Click to cancel.
So, it was gonna be a law and now it's not, and who knows what'll end up happening, but where um basically they're forcing anyone who has any kind of subscription model, so like memberships,
Ah,
um, to be able to have, I'm sure it's got like a real like legal name, but click to cancel is the like terminology I've seen on
yes.
social media, but just like making it abundantly clear about things like refund policy and how they can cancel their subscription and all of that fun stuff. Do you think that's going to be something that will come back around?
It may. I think the original intent was, I don't know if you ever shopped Fabletics. I was
Mhm.
just literally just talking about this a couple weeks ago. It was this subscription like loungewear, and you could skip the month if you didn't want like the loungewear of the month, and you could literally buy every month like this outfit that was put together. And it was easy to skip, but to cancel it was just horrendous.
Mm,
Those are the kinds of things that this law is trying to prevent. It's not a law yet. It's kind of out there in the ether now, I think. But yes, so I know what you're talking about. So it's important to differentiate between a true subscription and a membership, because
mhm.
if your program, and this should be very clear in all of your marketing and everything, if your program is a 12-month program and they have to be in for 12 months, maybe you offer a payment plan, but that's not really a subscription. That is a finite container, for lack of a better word. That's the word that everyone uses. A subscription is a monthly subscription, and it should be easy for someone to cancel because, and that's where this comes in, there should be a link somewhere or an email address or something so that someone can very easily say, done. That's not for a payment plan. That's for a true month to month subscription that someone just wants to cancel. Does that help to?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, yes, it's like, it could be a pain. It could be a churn, contributor to churn, but also just administratively, I think it's easier to have a clear mechanism so that you're not back and forth. You're not manually doing anything.
Hmm.
That's not a legal opinion. That's just just a
Personal
business
opinion.
thought.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, okay, so I don't let anyone leave without a book recommendation. So,
Oh, yes, I forgot.
and it
Okay.
doesn't have to be business, but it can. But just one book that you think everyone should read.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the first, well, I'm reading a book right now, and it's been really good. It's called Abundant Ever After by Kathy Heller. And it's just brilliant. She has a really good podcast too, but she talks about, abundance, whatever that is. It could be an abundance of time and just like slowing down, which I am in a season of just wanting to slow down and have more time, aren't we all? But just this idea of there being what you pay attention to. And if you were a radio with like the antenna, like we grew up with,
Mm.
music is always on, whether our radio is turned on or not. Like it's on,
Yeah.
but if you turn it on and whatever you set your antenna to is what it picks up. So it's a really cool metaphor for like, what are you paying attention to and what are you focusing on? You might have to adjust your dial so that you're picking up what you want to pick up.
I love that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. I'm gonna add that to my reading list. I haven't read that one yet. Amazing. We will have all of your links. We will have the refund policy generator, everything in the show notes and the description of this YouTube video as well. So thank you so much, Maria, for being here and just um, for sharing so many different ways we can make sure that we're protecting our peace so that we don't have that stress of Oh, now all of a sudden this is dropped on my plate.
Yeah, absolutely. Protect your peace.
Perfect.